when it comes to, as you said, religious trauma, it's not something we talk about. It's not something that there's a shame attached to that. And a big part of that has to do with the fact that we have so much trauma that we have to deal with. And we don't talk about that. We just started going to therapy, like what, last year?
Yesterday. Right.
We can talk about it right here, right now, Lanisa, you know we lit. Black and cultivated. Cults ain't just some white people shit. And if we offend you, you can turn us off right now. Cause we gon' talk about it all, light and darkness, even the evil in politics. That's all, that's it. Black and cultivated. You love it or you hate it.
What's up, everybody? My name is Lanisa Renee Frederick, and welcome to Black and Cultivated. We go jump right in, and I want to welcome to the pod someone who is black, but not cultivated. Our guest did not grow up in a cult. He didn't join no cult, but he know a hell of a lot about cults and religion. So welcome, Dr. Kamasi Hill. Hello.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Dr. Hill, let me brag on you a bit. Okay, so Dr. Hill is a historian, a theologian with a focus in African American religious history, cultural critic, a filmmaker, wanderluster, and all around blurred. Yes, I dig on Instagram and Google your LinkedIn to find your bio.
All right. I'm not mad at that.
He has been, I did my research, boo. I did my research. He's been a public school educator for more than 20 years. Don't know how you do it. Blessings to you. He has multiple degrees from multiple universities. Bottom line, your boy is smart. So, what's a cult?
What is a cult? Hey, listen. First of all, I want to say thank you for having me.
Of course.
And let's just start off with a very simplistic definition of a cult. A cult is religion minus time. That's all it is. It's really that simple. It's religion minus time. It takes time for religious communities to emerge. It takes time for religions to evolve and kind of sort themselves out. It takes time. What is time? Really, it varies, but I would say once something becomes accepted and institutionalized and really a part of the mainstream of any society, it's really no longer a cult. It's an accepted religion. Religion is a part of our human condition. It's a part of our human situation. It's how we negotiate the realm of the divine. It's how we understand spirituality. It's how we understand the unknown, the cosmic, the transcendent, all of these adjectives associated with faith, spirituality, even something like tradition or rituals, right? It's who we are as human beings. And so most religions start off, if not all religions, start off as cults.
So then at what point then does it, so for example, there are people that call Jehovah's Witnesses a cult.
Yeah.
So but it feels very mainstream.
It is.
So is that then religious trauma to those people, or is it?
No.
And what's the difference?
No, it's just people calling something that they don't understand something that they don't understand. That's all it is. I mean,
so do you think the term is just used widely?
Michael Jackson was a Jehovah's Witness. Prince was a Jehovah's Witness. We have people who are teachers who are Jehovah's Witnesses. Our friends. Serena Williams. The second most popular black woman next to Beyonce on the planet, right? Is a Jehovah's Witness. I think she's still a Jehovah's Witness. I don't think that.
I think so too.
Yeah. No one is tripping. Like no one.
Right.
No one interviews Serena Williams and says, you have some weird beliefs. Even if they believe that her beliefs are weird.
You keep it on the DL.
She has no problem saying, thank Jehovah for whatever. That's it.
So then what about like Scientology?
Here's the thing. It's time. Cults become religions after time. Scientology just needs a little bit more time. and trust me. once Scientology figures out the whole broke people can become a part of us, they'll become a regular religion now. But most people who are Scientologists, you have to have a lot of money.
You have to have money.
Yeah, there's an exclusivity to Scientology, and anything that's really exclusive, people are going to label it. It's the stigma being a cult or something else is going to be a little harder to shake because it's not mainstream. That's the point. See, it has to be mainstream. There can't be a barrier to its entry. And that barrier could be exclusivity. That barrier could be you got to look a certain way. That barrier can be you can't talk to your mama no more. You know what I'm saying? Like there can't be a barrier to your entry. You have to. A religion is something that anybody can go into and be like, hey, I just wanted to come and check y'all out, see how y'all doing.
It's when it starts adding those barriers or those rules that are outside of the mainstream that it gets a little weird.
Yeah, because mainstream, anything that is mainstream is typically are things that are socially acceptable or they're normative. So even if you don't necessarily accept them, it's like, oh, okay, this is no. You may not eat pork. Right. But it's normal for other people to eat. It's pretty normal. It's not odd behavior in our society. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, it's not something I necessarily do. I may not even have grown up doing it. But people do it.
I think I question this, and because I've been going back and forth, and we've talked about this before. I grew up in Worldwide Church of God. A lot of people call it a cult. I feel like as a Black person, there is that, am I allowed to say that? Because Black people don't do that. But also, like, is it just religious trauma? But when I think about, I didn't experience all of it, but definitely know people that have experienced within it, like the financial abuse, or being sent to gay conversion therapy, or, my mom talked about raising money for a girl to secretly send her to the doctor because our congregation was like, no doctors, that's not cute. So I'm like, is that a religious trauma? There was some exclusivity. There were some like weird rules, and then it died. When the leader died, it died.
What died?
The church.
Yeah, so I would say that's a cult.
Because it died with the leader.
Well, it's not. It wasn't. It was never mainstream.
No.
You see what I'm saying? It was never mainstream.
Yeah.
It was never something It was never something that was open to the public. It was very exclusive. True. So that's cultish.
And they bred that in us too. It was a lot of like, you're better than everybody else.
Well, yeah, cults stay cults as long as they say those people over there, they don't know the truth. And not only those people over there, they don't know the truth. It's closed off to those people. You can welcome someone in, but we're going to be very skeptical. We're going to make sure that we just open the door just a little bit so that people can come through. But we're going to really, 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 really monitor who walks through that door because everybody outside is crazy. We know the truth, capital T truth.
Yeah,
we know what's going on. And there's a reinforcement of us versus the world, right?
Yes.
Constantly. It's a constant reinforcement of we have access to something that the world doesn't. And the world can contaminate you. It can, it can sully you. It can destroy you. You're safe here. This is a safe space. And not only are you safe here, you're safe for eternity. Like this, your soul is dependent upon your connection with this particular space. Yeah, I mean,
especially if you donate, 30% of your income.
Well, not all.
Every month.
Well, not all cults require that.
Very true.
So
very true.
There's some who require financial commitment. There's some that are like, we're gonna live off the land and eat grass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the financial piece is not what determines cults. It's not indicative, no, at all. Not okay. I mean, because mainstream churches have that.
Oh, so then.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, you know what I want to ask. I'm like, so then everything's a cult.
What I mean is mainstream churches require access to money.
Right. A financial right.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know how they would survive if they didn't. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Anytime you belong to a group, somebody gonna end up asking you for something.
Right.
I mean,
you can't come in here for free.
I mean, are you union?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got to pay my
dues.
There
you go. You know what I'm saying? That ain't a cult. Well, it may be, but
well, actually, sorry, SAG-AFTRA. We are a cult.
But what I'm saying is, you don't have access to SAG if you ain't paying.
Facts.
Right. No, you can do whatever you want. They're not going to stop you from acting. You just can't come up in here and have access to what you see what I'm saying? So money is not really club. Yeah, money is not what makes something a cult. It's not what makes or breaks a cult. What makes something a cult is simply a group of people saying we believe this, and everybody else is not a part of it. We're exclusive. It's the exclusivity part of it that makes sense. That makes it a cult, and it hasn't become a part of the mainstream. That's it.
Of the mainstream. Mm-hmm. So in with that very succinct definition, why do we think of cults? And I'm not saying you particular or me particular, because we know that ain't us. But why do a lot of folks, black or white or whomever, across the diaspora, think of cults as white people shit? Constantly, I feel like we're told this,
because most white people don't allow us in their cults. That's it. I mean,
but we have cults.
But what I'm saying is, when it comes to stuff that we do, it's different because we have access to it. So even if you can't get in it, my cousin can. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a member of a fraternity, right? Not everybody can come in my fraternity. Right. We have songs that
you cannot.
We have songs that celebrate your lack of access. We do. Somebody's trying to sneak in my frat, and there ain't gonna be no like that. Like, we literally sing that. We say it. So
you can't step in here.
You can't. It's exclusive. Like, not everything belongs to everybody. Just because black folks can't come in white folks' spaces, that's society. That's in general. That's like, that happens all the time, whether or not it's a religion, a cult, a social club, a job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's all exclusivity.
Yeah.
I think too, the question then is like, black folks don't talk about it as if we haven't done it. We ignore the fact, somebody brought up like, oh my God, there's white people, there's a TikTok documentary about the dance cult, and somebody said, black people aren't in cults. That's crazy. And I was like,
all the time.
Jonestown?
Well, you didn't got to go back that far. I mean,
you're right.
No, it's no. I mean,
recent.
Listen,
but why is that with black people, within black communities? Like, why do we have a hard time talking about that or saying it? Like, why do we push it out as others?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with cults. I think it has everything to do with shame. When it comes to, as you said, religious trauma, it's not something we talk about. It's not something that there's a shame attached to that. And a big part of that has to do with the fact that we have so much trauma that we have to deal with. And we don't talk about that. We just started going to therapy, like what, last year?
Yesterday. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like COVID got us going to therapy.
Like, you know what? Maybe I should call BetterHelp.
Yeah, exactly.
Talkspace is looking nice.
Exactly.
And I feel like that shame I don't know how white folks do it, but I feel like with us, that shame does lead us down to the possibility of getting taken advantage of more within religious situations, because we can't talk about it. And it's a shame thing, especially, and I'm speaking from experience, just Christianity. I don't know other religions as much, but thinking about Christianity and black folks, it feels like perhaps it's coming from that idea of shame, that if you're not able to talk about it, it's easier to get got.
Yeah.
It's easier to get got.
Well,
and that's what tends to happen.
Well, a part of it is that, but the biggest issue is not the lack of conversation around cults. The biggest issue is that cults provide something that society often does not.
Facts.
So, a social safety net.
Yeah.
a strong sense of community, a sense of identity, or a reaffirmation of your identity, right? It's like, no, you're a part of us. You belong. You're strong. You're beautiful. You're proud. Like all of the things that society says, particularly to Black folks, that you're not, the cults do. The cults provide all of those fill those empty spaces, fill those voids that the larger society says, and or your family says or doesn't say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, cults provide something for people. If they didn't, people wouldn't join them.
It's that empowerment.
We all are looking for that. I mean, that's why there's no stereotype. There's no one type of person who joins a cult. There are Black lawyers who join cults. There are Black working class who join cults. There's no class distinction to cults. There are people who are very wealthy who can join a cult. There are people who are in between. Like it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we all have psychic and spiritual needs, right? We have material needs, but material needs don't fulfill the void of our psychic and our spiritual needs,
And we want to feel like we can belong somewhere. We want to feel
affirmed, loved, connected, admired, respected, trusted. And many of us want to believe in something bigger than ourselves. And that's another thing that cults provide. They provide a sense of wonder and awe, transcendent. There's something out there bigger than just me that helps me make sense of the world around me. And helps me make sense of internally me, right? Because there's this kind of spirituality in particular gives people an understanding of their internal needs, desires, and wants.
Their place.
Yeah.
Their why, essentially.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Speaking specifically for Black folks, like we were stripped of what we originally had. So then therefore we are very desperate to find that.
Well, it's not and constantly stripped. I mean, it's right. We still live in a society that takes away from us. So it's not,
absolutely.
It ain't even historical. It's contemporary stuff that we're stripped from, so
absolutely.
We ain't even got to go slavery,
Yeah.
We ain't got to go back to Alabama. You just go to the end of the block, It's
a continuous cycle of us being stripped of identity and things like that. So then we look for belonging.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get caught up and find belonging and maybe not the best of places.
And here's the thing, like you can call it get got, but I mean, listen, I don't want to besmirch cults because they just need a little bit more time.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, because if I'm going to besmirch cults, I got to besmirch Christianity. I got to besmirch Islam. You see what I'm saying? Because it's just time. That's all. They just need a little bit more time.
So how much more time do the Hebrew Israelites need?
So here's the deal. It's not about like any individual like cult, quote unquote cult. It's not about that in terms of time. It's about what is the goal, right, of the leadership of the Hebrew Israelites or anyone else. What is their goal? Is their goal to remain a kind of fringe organization that screams and shouts on the corner? Or is their goal to say, okay, we want to continue to scream and shout in the corner, but we also want people to join their PSAs or PTAs. We also want people to, get a job. We also want people to buy a car and buy a home. We also want people to pay taxes. Like all of the things that any mainstream person does. How much is the Hebrew Israelites or any other organization cool with? Because if they're cool with all those things, if they can find space to negotiate their brand of theology, religiosity, spirituality, faith, with becoming a part of the mainstream society, if they can figure out ways to negotiate that, what's wrong with it? Join them.
Then they'll, And I think that's the thing, though. I don't know. Can they find that with what
that's why I said time.
So far?
That's why I said time. That's why I said that's the only way that you can we'll be able to determine that. It's
And
time.
I want to say time again, repeat that, because I think the first time we talked, I was like, yeah, but this place has had 40 years. And you're like, girl, that ain't nothing.
No.
40 years is. So what is time?
I mean, Christianity started, right, first century, right?
Yeah.
It became a part of the Roman government in the 4th century. So you're talking about almost 400 years, 350 years. That's quick, to be quite honest with you. 350 years is not a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because remember, in the 1st century, what were the Romans doing to Christians? We saw Gladiator.
Yeah.
They were killing
persecuting.
them.
Yeah.
They ain't want to have nothing to do with this cult.
Yeah.
Right? What is this cult? What is this?
What are y'all
What
doing?
is this cult with this backwards leader from Palestine? Who walked around on a donkey and was saying stuff, talking about you're healed and weird parables.
And taking care of sex workers.
Right, parables
and
telling men to leave their wives and, and drinking blood. People drank his blood and they ate his body as cannibalism. What is going on? You see what I'm saying?
That sounds wild.
Yeah.
When you say it like that, it sounds wild.
Well, why is it wild? It's because you're not a part, or I'm not saying you're not. I don't know what your religious background is, but have you taken communion?
No.
So if anybody has ever, people who take communion all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You've never. I'm not saying you never, but I don't think you would freak out if someone said, if you saw someone with a black thing on their head, which was some ash, right?
Yeah.
And they just said, I just came back from communion. Girl, what's going on? You wouldn't be like, what?
I wouldn't blink.
What you going around eating somebody's body and drinking their blood?
Yeah.
And you do this every other week or every once a month, whatever. No one. Yeah.
But then back then, they were like, "What is this?
Yeah.
This is crazy."
Yes, and there's still some people who say that they're not, but those people are on the margins.
That's true.
Because Christianity is very mainstream.
Very mainstream.
If anybody were to say Christians practice cannibalism in our society, they would be demonized. What?
That's true. How dare you?
Right. How dare you insult the faith?
Right.
I don't know if you saw that picture that came out of, I don't know where it originated from, but it was the Olympics. So there was a picture of the Last Supper with some queer folks on it.
Yep.
Everybody was and they had to apologize. You see what I'm saying?
People had a fit. And I was like, isn't that?
That's because that is a well-respected mainstream, ritual.
Yeah.
Strip it away from all of its historicity, it is a whole bunch of dudes
which they don't like to talk about,
who were encouraged to leave their families.
Yep.
Sitting in a room, eating dinner, and their leader told them, "I'm finna die. And I want you to drink my blood and eat my body every time you think about me."
Well, you put it like that.
But that's what it is.
You're right. Well, when you put it like that, it sounds absolutely absurd.
It sounds absurd, and it sounded absurd then.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound absurd anymore because it's been mainstream. That's why. Presidents do it, and maids do it, and manservants do it, and the poor do it, and the rich do it. Like, it's mainstream.
Yeah. And it's the time. And it's very inclusive. Yes, there are obviously sects, SECTS, within it, but overall, they can all agree this is our higher power, this is what we believe, blah, blah, blah. Now, they might have their little battles in between, as we see all the time. Oh, I'm a Protestant, I'm like, okay. But overall, they can all agree.
Yeah, and it's a very and Christianity is a religion that that has done a very good job in mainstreaming blood, which is not something that any other faith tradition really does. That's accepted. Everything is based on blood.
That's true. So let me ask you this, actually. That actually leads to that. Before we were indoctrinated, Black folks, with Christianity, what were we? What were we focusing on? And how did we get so brainwashed that now when we talk about those things we were before, that's like, ooh, don't talk about that. Because my mama would be like, oh, that's witchcraft. Oh, that's da-da-da. All these other religions that were before Christianity. I'm like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure we followed that then and we were okay.
So I just want to say this. You're saying brainwash. I'm not. That's your term. I'm just going to say we have shifted our belief system.
Oh, okay.
Away from one set of beliefs. Listen, human beings evolve over a period of time and they change. And,
so you feel like it's an evolution, not a brainwash. I'll make it clear.
It's not even, for me, it's just about, it's time. Like so in West and Central Africa, where the vast majority of people who live in the Western Hemisphere, Black folks, we can trace our ancestry back to West and Central Africa, right?
Right.
Christianity didn't really become a part of West and Central Africa until around the 16th and 17th century, primarily in the Congo, and then it spread up, right?
Okay.
In East Africa, Christianity has been practiced since the 4th century, but most Black people in the United States don't trace their lineage to East Africa.
Right.
We're West and Central. So the notion of the religions that we practice ranged from traditional African religions to ancestor veneration to Islam,
right.
to tribal religions. So Black people have always practiced religion. The late scholar Gabriel Wilmore said that Black people are incorrigibly religious. INCORR, incorrigibly religious. Like Black people have always held on to traditions, beliefs, rituals, etc. So it's not about brainwashing necessarily. It's just what happens over periods of time. Obviously, slavery happened, and Black folks were exposed to different traditions, sometimes through force, sometimes through persuasion, right? Sometimes through just curiosity, right? So one of the things that Black folks never did was abandon their old ways. So
very true.
The way that Black people practice Christianity, by and large, in the Western Hemisphere, is very African. I mean, very African.
Our rituals are the songs, the choir, you're right. Yeah.
And
even how we preach.
Yeah, and regionally, you'll see distinct differences, right? So the way that Black folks practice Christianity in New Orleans is very different than the way Black folks practice Christianity in Los Angeles, right?
Very true.
Because the cultural and religious influences of Catholicism were stronger in New Orleans. You had the traditions of Haiti, because you had a lot of Haitian immigration in the 19th century, right after the Haitian Revolution, right? You had Black people coming from both Central and West Africa going to the New Orleans ports versus the vast majority of West Africans who came to South Carolina, right? So Washington, D.C., South Carolina, and New Orleans were the three major entries of Black folks coming from different parts of the world. So when Black people went to New Orleans, they were typically either coming from Central Africa, the Caribbean, or South America. So you had it's way more of a unique set of religiosity that has been built, that has emerged. So for example, you see way more Black Catholics in Louisiana.
Absolutely.
Than you see way the ritual of the funeral rituals. People are dancing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just different. The way that religion emerges over periods of time is going to manifest themselves in different ways because the history is different.
And I guess, I will fully admit I did not think about the fact that we still carry over, because we see how we carry over traditions and other aspects, but
all the time, how
giving us the credit to be like, great, we want to be Christian, but we're still not taking away the things that we had. We're still not taking away our tradition. We're still going to use music
And a lot of times black folks don't even necessarily know how to articulate that or even have the knowledge.
I didn't know how to articulate it. Absolutely.
So I'll have to tell the story of a woman who took two young men down to the cemetery to bring flowers to her husband. And this is a Baptist woman, like long Baptist, you know what I'm saying? Just straight up Holy Ghost filled Baptist woman.
Yeah.
And when she got down to the gravesite to bring her flowers to her deceased husband, who's been deceased for years, she says, "Now, Hubbard, these are my two friends here, Hubbard. And I just want you to know, Hubbard, that these two young men, they come to my house, they cut my lawn, they take care of me, and I make them some good tuna fish. Remember them tuna fish sandwiches I used to make you, Hubbard?" She's talking to this, the tombstone, and
Right.
the guy, Hubbard been dead 30 years. You know what I'm saying? But there's this communication with the ancestors. That's why I would label it as. Now, she would never say that.
Absolutely.
She would, in fact,
don't say that.
She would never say that, ever.
Right.
And she wouldn't even make the connection that that's what she's doing, right? It's because it's a cultural thing, right? It's something that has been passed down from generation to generation, and it's just something that folks practice. I have friends who are hardcore Christians who lose people in their life, and they'll do something as simple as, the Lord is on my side. My girlfriend died last week, but I miss her, and I just tell her, "Hey, I'm doing this for you, girl." Like, why are you saying that?
Right.
Why are you saying why are you talking to her as if you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even something as simple as that, that's a carryover.
You're right.
So,
because I don't hear white folks talk about that a lot.
No,
but
that's what we do. It's a cultural thing.
That is definitely, and it is rooted in some of the religions that we practiced prior to.
Yep.
We just don't know how to articulate it. It's hard to see the connection. And then there is a pushback if you bring it out. Like you said, you can't say it because they'll be like, no, I don't do that. I'm not talking to blah, blah, blah.
Well,
but in reality,
the pushback,
you are.
The pushback is if we label it something that they're not familiar or comfortable with, that goes against their larger stated belief system. I remember, you're in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're familiar with Tommy the Clown and the Crump and Clown Dancers. If not,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a documentary about Tommy the Clown that came out in 2005 or 2006 about these young.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
About these, it's called Rise, R-I-Z-E. About these young people who Tommy was training to dance, Crump and Clown dancing, and these were just little kids, teenagers in the park dancing. And there's one scene in the documentary where the director juxtaposes their dancing with some dancing that was done in like a rural African village, and they were juxtaposing the images of them, and the director's intent was to show the kind of continuity between what the movement of these young people and the movement of African people.
It's still in you,
right? Well, there was at the end of the scene, there was a young man. He couldn't have been more than 15 years old who was dancing, and there was a young lady who was dancing, and then she fainted. And she fell into this young man's arms. And the director, who was off camera, was saying, "What's happening? Is she okay?" Because everybody was crowding around the young lady. But there was no sense of urgency. It wasn't like we should take her to the hospital. It wasn't none of that. They were just holding her up because she had fainted. And so he asked the little boy, "What's going on?" And the little boy said, very casually, "Oh, she just struck. We've been all waiting for that. That's what we've been waiting for. She just struck." He's literally using the language that Pentecostals use to describe being slain in the spirit.
Yeah.
But the little boy would have never made that. That little boy wouldn't. Much respect to the little boy. I don't want to insult that young man's intelligence, but I strongly believe that little boy wouldn't have been able to make that explicit connection with the
connection.
Right. He's just using the language that he's familiar with. And he said, "She struck. That's all we've been waiting for." That is so old, right? that shows up in so many traditional African religions. It shows up obviously in various forms of Black Christianity. Mm-hmm. It's very folksy too, because there's a folksiness to the notion of body movement connected to spiritual transcendence. There is a connection to being in a state of obliviousness due to some phenomenon that transcends the body, right? So it's like you're dancing in the body, but you're connected to something bigger, right? Mm-hmm. And I often show my students that clip because I want them to understand, like, this is who Black folks are. This is what we do.
Yeah. And it's a bigger connection.
And I don't care where you are in the Black world, unless you have never, if you're Black, and the only person that wouldn't be familiar with that is if a Black person did not grow up around Black folks. That's the only way you, because every Black person, even a non-religious Black person, would be like, yeah, that's weird, but I understand it because I've seen it with my grandmother or my great-grandmother, or I know my friend. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I mean, it happens all of the time where somebody is slain in the spirit, or somebody has a moment, or, you know, like, it's as much as it's a religious tradition. It's a part of the culture.
Yeah, I think about speaking in tongues too.
Yeah,
very, very similarly. Like, yeah, I might be like, oh, okay, that's a little strange, but I know that tradition. I know, you know, that's normal. I didn't do it growing up, but I understand it and I know it. So it's all connected.
You didn't do it growing up, but I guarantee you that you have been a part of spaces, or you may have even yourself participated in a ritual where it ended in you feeling some type of sense of euphoria.
Yes.
You've been to a concert and it was just so hype. Right. Yeah. It was so dope that you were in your own little zone. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm in Chicago. I can't tell you how many times I see that at a house music. I don't really go there at my age to house music parties anymore. But I can't tell you how many times I've seen folks at house music party in their own little space. They dancing by themselves.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? And Stranger Days will come on, or hot music will come on, or, you know what I'm saying? Or Percolator will come on.
Yes.
And they have a moment.
Yep.
And even if you're at a regular party and you are listening to us and that part of your song comes on, it's just a part.
Comes on. Right.
And everything stops.
Yes.
And you close your eyes and you raise your hand.
And you in it.
And you're in that moment right there. And you don't want anybody to talk to you. You don't want anybody to interrupt your moment. That moment is sacred and spiritual just for that one bar. Just for those 10 seconds where that beat drops and your part comes on. And you're just like, oh.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We don't have to call this, because it doesn't matter what we call it. What matters
is it okay? Wait, why is it okay?
Because it's a phenomenon. You don't need to name or label every single thing that you do with a label, with a title, with a label.
And connect it back.
No, you don't. Just do it.
I feel like that gets us further disconnected from who we are. Maybe this is getting outside of cults, but further disconnected from our ancestors, further disconnected from who we are if we don't acknowledge.
It doesn't. Because the act itself is a connection. Whether you name it or not, it's still a connection. Whether you have the language to articulate it, it's still a connection. It doesn't matter.
You're still doing it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Okay. Now, it would be good if everybody could name it and make that connection.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't matter.
But it's okay.
Listen, it is, and this is not exclusive to Black folks. Every group has an ancestral lineage, a connection to something that's, that transcends, the time that they may not even be able to make those connections. But yeah, it's okay. You ain't gotta name it.
It's like, don't Mufasa tell Simba it's in you? Ain't that Mufasa? It is in you.
It's in you. It's in you.
It's in you. That's true.
Or, and I like to, for me, I'm more, I don't necessarily use the phrase "it's in you." I am more comfortable, for me as an individual and as a scholar, I'm more comfortable saying it's passed down to you. Because it wasn't in W.E.B. Du Bois.
Damn.
When and he says it. I mean, in The Souls of Black Folks, written in 1903, it's the first time he's in his 20s, and he never has walked into a black church before. He grew up in the suburbs of Massachusetts. He was biracial.
Right.
And he walks into a black church for the first time in his 20s, and he's like, what is the preacher, the sweat, the frenzy? Like, he's so taken aback by it.
He shook. He got shook.
He's never seen anything like it before. So it wasn't in him.
It wasn't in him.
You know what I'm saying? He had to learn it. He had to learn it. I mean, none of that. No, he had to learn who he was. And he did, because by the time he was in his 90s, he refused to be brought back to the United States.
He's like, I'm not coming back.
Like, leave me in Africa. Leave me right
I'm
here.
good.
Right.
That's very true.
So, yeah. No, it's a learned, it's passed down. Now, I'm not going to really debate someone if they want to say it's in you. That's completely fine. I'm not. I'm fine. Yeah, but for me, I'm more comfortable with saying, no, it's acquired. We pass it down culturally through generational practices, through rituals. It's a learned behavior that's passed down, whether it's individually passed down from one family member or whether it's a communal thing that's passed down.
Yeah. Whether or not you're practicing it yourself versus like you just, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't practice because of where I went to church, but I went to church with my grandmother and I saw it.
Yeah.
I went to church with my auntie and I saw it. So, yeah.
You went to cookouts.
Interesting.
I
went to the cookouts.
You went to, I don't know where you went, but I guarantee you that if you trafficked in black spaces, you picked up some stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And you grab onto that and it's then passed down.
Let's take a break.
I want to play like a few games.
Okay.
I'm curious, Dr. Hill, if you were to run a cult, what kind of cult would you run? What is the ideological foundation of your cult? Would you want money, more power?
It'll be some around music.
A music cult.
Yeah, Prince. a Prince cult. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
and what would the Prince cult be like? What would y'all do?
Purple.
Only
we'd all wear purple. Obviously, listening to his music would be extremely important. We would greet each other with dearly beloved. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be,
I want to be in this cult.
Yeah, it'd be. You know what I'm saying?
This is dangerous because I'm clearly open to cults, and I'm like, that sounds like a good idea.
And when we would gossip, we'd be like, "Hey, dig if you will this picture, okay? So listen."
Dig if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a lot of Prince lyrics.
A lot of diamonds, a lot of pearls.
Right, a lot of diamonds, a lot of like anything Prince would be acceptable.
This doesn't sound like a bad cult.
Motorcycles. Bathing at Lake Minnetonka.
Can I just say, I finally sat down and watched that movie as an adult for the first time a few years ago, and wow, it was so bad. It's so bad, it's good.
Oh, so bad, it's good. Yeah, it's so bad, it's good. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd be down for that cult, though.
Yeah.
Are there any cults or culty-like organizations right now that have been piquing your interest that you're like, yo, what is happening with this place?
If it would be anything, it would be something that's pretty much online.
Just online? That's deep.
Yeah.
I mean, and we saw that with it can lead to some dangerous paths. That Mother God cult, where they started drinking she started drinking the silver. That started out as an online thing.
Okay.
And next thing you know,
I'm not familiar with it. Yeah.
Long story short, started as an online cult, online religion.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned into this crazy cult where people were drinking silver, and she actually died. They kept her in her house for like 5 days. But it started out as that because people were anxious about going to a brick and mortar. They had this anxiety. So they built this online community where they did feel safe. And then it led into
other things. Yeah.
Other things, scary paths.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to list off some things. This is the part where if you're like, Lanisa, I can't say that. I ain't trying to get canceled.
Okay.
I'm fine for you. I'm fine. We're going to play cult or nah. So tell me, is this a cult
or
not?
Okay.
Atlanta.
Oh, no.
Hennessy.
No.
Brunch. The cult of brunch.
Mm,
He
I'm gonna
thinking.
say yes because of the exclusivity part.
Oh, we got
You,
one.
you can't you can't
Okay.
you can't do brunch if you broke.
It's an exclusive club.
It's very exclusive, and people will judge
Brunch is a
you.
cult.
People will judge you if if you show up without any money, you'll be dismissed. You have to be able to get there. I mean, we're talking about going out to brunch, right? We're not talking
Right,
about
right.
yeah. I would say yes. Brunch is a cult. Mm-hmm.
The cult of brunch.
Yes,
Oh, that's deep.
Uh-huh.
All white parties.
Nah.
Come on, yo.
No, the reason why I'm saying that is because I grew up in Detroit, and all white parties were what working class people did on Fridays and Saturdays. You got out, you came home from the plant, you put your white clothes on, and it was BYOB.
Yep.
They rented a little hall space, and so anybody could come. It wasn't exclusive. There was no, maybe $5. I mean, it was very, very inexpensive. So no, I wouldn't say. Yeah, I wouldn't say it.
But you have to have your white outfit.
Yeah, but that was easy. It's Detroit. It's Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Black people in prom.
No. Mm-mm.
I agree with you on that.
That's fun. That's just fun. Yeah.
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 And I think it's something that we need. We need that celebration.
Absolutely.
And I love it.
Yeah, it may be the last one. It may be the last time you get dressed up.
Exactly. I'm like, look, let's do it up.
Marriage is not guaranteed. So maybe the last.
Marriage is not guaranteed.
Yes.
Exactly. I love it. Prison Muslims.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Because you gotta go to prison.
Right.
And that in and of itself is the exclusivity. Right. And Islam in prison is much different than Islam outside of prison.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and half those dudes don't remain Muslims when they get out.
They don't.
So no,
they get out.
It's a cult. It's a cult.
It's
a necessary cult though. It's a necessary cult though.
You need it to survive.
Absolutely.
You need it to survive.
Yep.
The Barbs.
Is that some Beyonce stuff?
No, but I was going to ask Beehive.
Oh, it's kind of hard to argue that they're not.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Both of them?
What do you mean both of them?
Beehive and the Barbs?
It's hard to argue because it's very exclusive.
Yeah.
It's strict rules. It's like you got to behave a certain way, and they're not fans of and typically they're not fans of anybody else. There's no
and they will come for you.
And they will come for you. Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue that they're not. I think all of them are cults. But I don't think it's a bad. But that's what I'm saying. I don't have any stigma attached to cults.
Right. That's true.
Right. So I don't.
You don't.
No, I'm because it's just the only thing that cults don't have is time. That's it. You just need more time.
Did you hear that, Scientology? You just need a little bit. Just hang in there.
Just hang in there. Hang in there.
Hang in there, Scientology.
Don't die.
You
don't die. Most cults die.
Yep, my cult died. So it's the end.
Yeah. So
learn from experience. Don't die.
Just hang in there. Don't die.
You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to close out. What would you like to leave listeners with in this conversation about Black folks and cults?
Well, I would say, first of all, I want to say thank you for having this conversation. I don't necessarily get a chance to have conversations about cults often and Black people's relationship. I would say, listen, if you're in a cult, if you ain't harming nobody, if your family still loves you, if you still love your family, if you can still go to your job, pay your tax, like if you could do all of the things that you were doing before you joined the cult, you just have to have a different belief system. Go ahead. Enjoy your cult, because I'm going to enjoy brunch. The second thing.
Omelet me up.
Yes. The second thing I'll say is cults and religions aren't going anywhere. It's a part of who we are. It's a part of our human experience. And it's, quite frankly, there's a beauty in it, because there's beauty in community. There's beauty in shared beliefs. So at the end of the day, all religions and cults do is they offer us a space within communities to look at the world in a specific way and not be judged and be affirmed by the community that we're around. And so I think we all as human beings need that. We need to be in spaces where we don't have to figure each other out. That's why human intimate relationships are best when y'all just vibe. It's just like, okay, this person gets me, I get them. We ain't tripping. It's easy. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And that's what we want. And so whether you're in a cult, whether you're in a religion, whether you're not in a religion, whatever, you want to be able to navigate life in a way that's easy. If anything brings to you something that devalues your humanity, that takes you away from living in a loving community, that stigmatizes other folks, then yeah, you may want to renegotiate that. You may want to think about that. And the last thing I'll say is very specific to Black folks. Black people, we have to learn to live in a racist society, in a world that devalues our humanity. We're all looking for ways in which to reclaim that, to reclaim our humanity, to reclaim our identity, to reclaim our sense of understanding our place and space in the world. So just give each other grace, no matter if the person is a part of a cult or not. We have to give each other space and we have to give each other grace and love each other. And sometimes we have to love somebody from afar, right? We may not be able to love them up close, but we still have to love them from afar. So that's at the end of the day, the best cult is the cult of love.
Look at you buttoning up on the podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
Look at you buttoning that up. That was absolutely gorgeous. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I love leaving on that point, the cult of love.
Yes.
Because yes.
Don't you want to be a part of that?
Exactly. I'm like, Prince and love.
There you go.
Boom.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Yeah.
You have given so much of your time and energy over this whole process. Even in the beginning when I was like, what the hell am I doing? This is what I think I want to do.
Yeah.
So thank you. I am eternally grateful because I've been wanting to do this for a while. And thank you for helping me manifest that dream.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you.
You're absolutely welcome.
Yes, we did it, Joe. We did it. That will be my favorite pop culture reference for the rest of my life.
We did it, Joe.
We did it, Joe.
Black and Cultivated is a production of Laugh Now or Wait Till Later. Created and hosted by Lanisa Renee Frederick. Produced by Yinka Rickford Angwin and Lanisa Renee Frederick. Video, audio editing, and all things tech, Antonio Ruiz and Jamil Nelson. Special thanks to Kevin Fredericks and Kev on Stage Studios. Leah Friars, Kara O'Connor, and Amir Edwards. Theme song by Rufus Moore. And finally, thank you. Thank you to each and every one of my guests for courageously opening up and sharing your personal stories on our podcast. Your strength, your resilience, and willingness to share is an inspiration. And for that, I am truly grateful. Deuces.